All right. We are live. I'm here with my husband, and we're going to be discussing a lot of the popular dog movies that have the dog dying and see whether our reactions differ at all from the majority. And we're going to start off with Old Yeller because everybody says that that's the saddest movie they've ever seen. But you had a very different reaction when you watched Old Yeller for the first time. So how old were you and what was the setting?
I believe I was 5 or 6, and I was at home just watching it on TV casually. That or my mom put it on for us, my brother and I, but I don't remember exactly. But what I do remember is, I don't remember much of the movie except for the ending where, the boy has to shoot Old Yeller.
Old Yeller gets the hot shot.
Yeah. And when I was little, seeing that happen, I was still in that just childlike processing of movies where when I see something aggressive or someone turn angry or aggressive or bad, it's like, oh, they're the bad guy. But watching that movie, there's not really a bad guy per se, from what I remember.
I guess the bear.
Closest thing, I suppose. But just going through that, when that came up and Old Yeller was starting to foam and growl, I was like, oh no, it's the bad guy. It's the bad guy the whole time. So when the boy had to shoot his dog, and he did, I was kind of happy because I'm like, yay, he got rid of the bad guy.
So how did you feel about the other characters in the story crying and everything?
I guess I didn't. I thought they were just crying because they had been betrayed.
I see. I really like that interpretation of Old Yeller because they like to portray Old Yeller as the victim. And so when he gets rabies or whatever, or when it gets rabies, we're talking about an animal here, you refer to it as it, they think it's the victim of rabies. It's like, oh, it's before rabies vaccines existed, and poor Old Yeller. But I like your reaction, how he was the villain, and the characters are crying because he fooled them all along.
Yeah, I thought it was a twist.
I love it. So what other dog movies did you watch growing up that had the dog die?
Let's see. Well, one I watched a lot of was All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Ah, that's true.
It's a cartoon. I'm like, I like cartoons. I'm a kid. I like cartoons. But I remember we watched it a couple of years ago, and I think that was right before we actually found IHD.
Yes.
So before all the truth about dogs really kicked in, watched the movie. But now, just looking at it in hindsight, it's a very odd movie. Also, just very dangerous.
Yeah, there's so much child endangerment in that movie. Let's see, we have Ban All Dogs and Asher in the building, which is cool. Cujo. Did you ever watch Cujo?
No, I did look up some stuff on YouTube at some point for that movie. And it is funny how I remember the scene where the dog gets rabies, but it's just happy music, a flowery sunshine field, and he's just basking in the fields, and he just sticks his head in a hole and bites him.
Oof.
And that's just when he was injected with his true nature.
I like your perception of when dogs get rabies in movies. Is the dog is not the victim; it is the villain, and it had a ruse all the time. So the dogs always have to be a victim in these stories, even when they do something bad. It's like, oh no, Fluffy or Cujo didn't mean to mutilate that child. It's just the rabies, and the dog didn't mean to do it.
It's the same with zombie movies. It's
true.
you have the characters you come to know and love, and they turn to a zombie. You have to do a bit of like a mental shift, because it's like, oh, it's not, at this point, it's not the person anymore. So much like with dogs when they get rabies, they're not a dog anymore.
They're not the happy, loving family dog you grew up with.
Yeah, they've changed. I guess so. I suppose rabies are essentially the closest thing to turning animals into a zombie.
And people too. When people get bit by rabid dogs, because dogs are the 99% of the transmission rates, it does turn a human being into a zombie. Become aquaphobic. You can't drink water. And I mean, I'll have to do some research into rabies, but it's a really messed up disease.
Yeah. Probably the closest thing to a zombie outbreak or zombie infection we would have at some point, if there was just, I guess, with dogs on the rise, I guess rabies would be on the rise, so yeah.
I mean, in India, that's definitely the case, because they have all those stray dogs. But in somewhere like America, I imagine the rabies transmission is so low because there are rabies vaccines. A lot of, if you live in an apartment, you need to get your pet vaccinated against rabies.
That's true. So it's weird how that's regulated. But other aspects of dog ownership aren't really.
Because we have to protect poor Fido from poor rabies.
That's true.
Or protect it from this evil disease. They don't really consider, like, no, you idiots, this is to protect your dumb ass from getting rabies and your children from getting rabies.
Yeah.
But all dogs go to heaven. I recently posted a video on my channel. I can't remember if I showed you. It's the hell nightmare scene, and then the ending is just like a Don Bluth film. Happy music.
Immediately after the hell scene, it cuts to credits.
Yes, because I feel like that would be the best ending for the movie. Oh, Kitter's in the house. Hey, Kidder. It's nice being able to stream and be able to communicate with all these people. Because, I mean, we got IHD streaming. I don't know if he's still streaming. But this is what helps bring the community together. And I think this is the first time we've streamed together. Mm-hmm. We've done interviews before, but I don't think we've ever streamed before. So this is good. I'm glad we're doing this, and we've been putting this off for such a long time too. We have these discussions just on our own. So this is really just a conversation that we have, the kind of conversations we usually have. Now, a couple weeks ago, you brought up the film Milo and Otis, which I never saw that growing up, but plenty of people in the community have seen Milo and Otis, and there's a lot of dog abuse that goes on. They went through like 30 dogs or something, these ugly-ass pugs, and like they killed 30 kittens or something in one scene. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but yeah, so you watched that when you were growing up?
No, I did not. I did not watch that at all growing up. But I did find it a couple of years ago. I didn't watch it, but it was... I heard it, and I looked into it, and I'm like, oh, watching the scenes from it, I could clearly tell these animals are not enjoying themselves. And also at some scenes, I'm going like, it looks like, I think they're dying.
Yeah, the bear scene, and we watched the bear scene together.
They did some pretty clever jump cuts, right as you see the bear clamp its claws into the dog.
And convenient editing, then they cut to the cat that's in the box floating down the river. They just intentionally put these things in danger for movie's sake.
Yeah, and while doing research on just looking up dog movies in Google, it is one of the top, or one of the first results I saw, that movie was in a list. Like, which is weird because I would think in retrospect people would try to remove that movie, but it still counts apparently.
Yeah. That's a really old movie too. That's where the propaganda really gets people, especially younger kids, because, well, we both know we watched cartoons that had dogs in them and children alone with dogs, just making it so that human beings no longer recognize dogs as predators.
I imagine it was also Milo and Otis is a bit of a raw look at what people probably do with their pets normally, which they do put them in dangerous situations, but I'm guessing they have enough self-awareness to know they should probably not upload this. But with Milo and Otis, it seemed like they didn't care, or they were just able to edit the scenes so they could get away with it.
It was filmed in Japan too, and in Japan they don't really have the same type of animal welfare laws like they do here in America, because they don't freaking care. So they could never get away with a movie like that in America, because they intentionally they had a bunch of dogs on set with the idea that they were going to be replaceable, and it was a big hit in America. So it makes you wonder if the Japanese knew that Westerners are obsessed with dogs and thought that they could make this cute little cat and dog movie to get them all on board. But it's yeah, so if as much as we dislike these Mutt movies, you can kind of take some peace in it, knowing that they probably, or they definitely abuse the dogs on set, because that's what they have to do to get these creatures to obey. So we don't condone dog abuse of any kind, really, because the owners do it for us, really.
All the people trying to make something cute, they're the ones putting the dogs at risk.
Yeah, they are perpetuating cruelty on their own.
You know, put your dog or your pet near another animal and film and see what happens.
Put your pug next to a bear and see what happens. Or that scene where the pug is drowning. Like, it's clearly drowning. Like, no, it's definitely going to die. That thing doesn't know how to swim.
It doesn't know how to swim, and the bear is also pushing it under the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
And then you see the bear get, like, pretty close to, like, biting down on the dog, but they cut it at the last minute.
So I wonder what the editor of that movie, how his job went, trying to compile all the footage together.
I imagine he probably didn't care. It's like, looks like a little bit of blood is drawn there, so cut that out. Would you watch a full uncut of Milo and Otis?
The unedited Milo and Otis movie. That would be interesting. Just behind the scenes.
I know that there are deleted scenes in Milo and Otis, so they probably need to take those out for the American release.
I think there is one where there's a cat and a bunch of birds are surrounding, pecking at it.
Jeez. or like the cat, one of them, the cat falls off a cliff or something and dies.
Yeah,
like,
or it's hanging onto a cliff. It's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's why they are starting to make the switch to animated movies, so that way there's no dog abuse. But it's just funny, these people that promote dogs are the ones that abuse them. Like A Dog's Purpose that we were talking about earlier. I haven't seen this movie, so anybody who has seen this movie, fill us in. But there's one scene where the dog looks scared, and it's because it was beaten shortly before they started to roll the cameras. So anytime a dog is afraid or cowering in fear in a movie, you can be rest assured that the all morally superior dog lovers were probably beating it beforehand.
Yeah, I imagine the least you could do to get it afraid is just yell at it a lot to make it really uneasy. So,
but won't that make it more aggressive?
I think it'll make it more afraid.
What you want.
Yeah.
Ashley was a dog trainer, and she said the only good dog is a dog that doesn't trust you. A dog that feels like it can't turn its back on you. And that's good. You want it to be on edge. It's like, yeah, that's right, you little shit.
Let's see. Another movie I grew up with, and I haven't seen it in years. A lot of these movies I bring up I didn't look into them, rewatch them at all, because I'm trying to go off of my memories of them. But I've seen Air Bud, the original one, a couple times. But honestly, the only thing I could remember from that is the clown from it. And I forget if the dog was in the... Because I remember at the end, there's a chase scene with the clown guy chasing them, but I forget if the dog is in the clown car or something and goes into the water.
I don't remember those movies at all.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that about basketball or something?
Yeah, the dog wants to play basketball.
And gets capnocytophaga on the basketball.
Yeah, and the scorekeeper is like, well, there's no rule saying a dog can't play basketball, so that the lack of a law means that there is no law in place.
That's a fallacy. It's like, well, there is no law saying I can't go up to people and blow a trumpet in their ear.
If there's no law against it, then that means there is a law for it.
That's the mentality of dog nutters. Or if there is a law against it, they don't care if they're breaking it. So the no pet sign on grocery stores are like, this doesn't apply to me. I'm above the law.
I'll just say it's a service dog.
That's all you have to do. Like, awesome, I guess we'll take your word for it. But Air Bud, that's a good movie.
Yeah, one of those early ones. I think it was also up there with Homeward Bound, which I'm not familiar. I've seen it, but it was so long ago, I don't remember. Let's see, 2 dogs and a cat, a golden retriever, pit bull, and a Siamese.
Yes.
I do. The only scene I remember that is the ending, where I think the kids see the pets. The pets, for some reason, come in one by one.
Right.
So you see the cat, it's like, oh, it's my cat. Oh, it's my golden retriever. And then the saddest boy of all is like, oh, where's my pit bull?
I think it was the golden retriever that was last because he's old.
Oh, okay.
So the pit bull comes, the cat comes, and they're like, oh, where's Goldie? I can't remember its name.
Where's old Goldie?
Like, oh, he's too old. And then he comes along. It's like, great.
Great.
If your pets are so loyal, why did they run away from you?
Oh, let's see. So another movie that has a dog should have died was The Fox and the Hound with what's the old dog?
Old Chief.
Old Chief, in the scene where he gets hit by a train, falls off hits his head on a cliff, and lands in the water. Yet somehow he only comes out of that with a broken leg.
That was intentional. They were gonna make it so that they kill off Old Chief because he does die in the book, but they decided not to because that they felt like killing off Bambi's mom was too risque. And it's the same with Lady and the Tramp when the Basset Hound gets run over. And same thing, it only gets out with a broken leg, but they were originally going to kill it off. Don't know why they didn't, though.
But maybe that just goes to show how durably stupid these things are.
Yeah.
They can take as much brain damage as they can. It doesn't affect them.
The brain is not a vital organ to a dog. I've shown you pictures of dogs that have arrows through their head and they still look like a normal dog, which looks like a demon. Another dog movie is Beethoven. Did you ever watch those?
I did not watch the Beethoven movies.
I remember for whatever reason, my sister just rented a bunch of these Mutt movies, and I just always felt infuriated at a lot of them because they make dogs' destructive nature seem like it's cute or something, and with Beethoven, they have children, small children around a Saint Bernard, and Saint Bernards have killed people before. Just a couple years ago, a Saint Bernard killed a 3-month-old baby or something. Like this is really serious, and they're making it seem like it's cute.
And are they at their California home?
Yeah.
So definitely keeping that thing in its element.
It was in like one of those really shitty motorhome, or what are they? Yeah, like the manufactured homes. Not enough space for a huge animal, and also probably overheating.
Yeah.
I think it was either Texas or California, somewhere around there. I'll have to do some more.
I just assume most movies are filmed in California.
A lot of them are, because it's warm there.
Yeah.
But now it kind of sucks because there's smoke everywhere. What else do you have on your list?
Oh, let's see. 101 Dalmatians.
Ugh.
Which is just more so of a nightmare to think about.
It's glorifying pet hoarding.
Yeah. You've brought up a story of just someone with, 12 dogs?
I think so. Some of them, like there was a fire that took place, and there was like 70 dogs or something. 70 small dogs. That number could be higher, but when you're getting into double digits when it comes to dogs, there's no reason for that.
Or someone who's had 12 dogs and he was dying.
Yeah, that was on one of Ashley's streams. I'll have to try to find it again. But yeah, this guy had a bunch of these big dogs living in his home, and they were slowly killing him with diseases. And he basically put up an ad saying like, "Oh, I need someone to take care of these dogs because I'm fucking dying. These dogs are slowly killing me." Like, I can only laugh because that is not something that applies to us dog haters. It's only dog lovers that will face this kind of fate.
So, I'm trying to imagine what diseases are happening in 101 Dalmatians. Where do they shit? Where is that throughout the whole movie?
Wait, dogs shit? The movies never show that. But if 101 Dalmatians was realistic, it's like one of those Smosh videos. If movies were realistic, there would be dog shit everywhere in 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah, there was a live action 101 Dalmatians.
That's the one I'm thinking about.
Okay.
But a lot of them are CGI, I believe.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
It's disgusting.
But still,
yeah.
It's just the concept of acceptable pet hoarding because
yeah.
it's cute. Also, those dogs are going to grow up. Like, they grow up very quickly, so I don't know how these dogs stay perpetually in the puppy stage.
It's just a delusion. I think in the movie they move to a farm or something.
Oh, yeah. And then I remember watching the cartoon for
yes.
101 Dalmatians a little bit as a kid, and it took place on a farm, from what I remember. So, they made their own puppy mill.
Yes.
I'm guessing that probably leads to a lot of lots of inbreeding among dogs. I don't know. Will dogs just naturally breed with whatever dog's around?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of incest between animals. But it's funny, after those stupid movies came out, there was a huge influx of Dalmatians being put into shelters because parents would get Dalmatian puppies for their children. And then once those puppies grow up, they realize that they're aggressive little shits that require a lot of beating and training.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think teddy bears are just superior, because you can't go to a store and buy a bear cub. But with these dog movies, you can go to a store and buy a dog, just like in these dog movies.
Yeah, that's the same that's with any animate, or not even animated, but any movie revolving around pet or anthropomorphizing an animal. So same with Finding Nemo.
Oh yeah.
Clownfish became really popular and made them endangered. So whenever you make a movie about how cool or cute these animals are, it just makes people go out and buy them.
I remember doing a little bit of research and I found some mixed information. A lot of people said it was just a hoax or something, but given what we know about human tendency, I would not be surprised if that's the case because you can buy clownfish. The movie was supposed to send out the message that you shouldn't take animals from their habitat and enslave them. Like, oh, I want a little Nemo. Oh, Marley and Me. That's a good one. Or Mrs. Fivehem Head and Four Eyes said she didn't cry when Marley died. I felt like I needed to cry just out of social acceptance, but I just remember... Have you seen that movie?
Which one's that?
Marley and Me. It's the one with Owen Wilson.
And he gets a destructive dog?
He gets a puppy. He and his wife get a puppy, and then it becomes a little shit. Okay. And then they have children, and then the dog mauls their child. No, I'm just kidding. That's the part of the movie that they should have shown. But yeah, it's just really destructive, and Owen Wilson is an idiot and lets his dog run off leash, and this scene infuriates me because they're on a beach that says all dogs must be on a leash. He lets his dog off leash and it immediately shits in the water. And then they ban dogs from the beach altogether. And I don't know why that was included in the movie, because I felt like they were kind of making it seem like it's something that's cute. But it's just so stupid. They put the dog down, but I don't see what is... no, it's like it got sick or something, and they needed to put it down. They didn't put it down because it was shitting in the water, but at the end of the movie, they have to put it down. It's like, oh, it's so sad. But then they get a new one immediately. That's why I don't think it's sad when people's dogs die. If someone...
They're going to replace it anyways.
Yeah, so. It's like, stop crying. You're going to get a new dog, I promise you.
They're going to get 3 dogs to comfort them over the loss of the one dog they liked.
But it doesn't replace the void in their genitals. I mean, the void in their heart. Doesn't fill their orifice. The orifice in their heart.
The orifice of loneliness.
It's a good one. Let's see. What else do you have there?
Let's see. So that's mostly it for... I know there's 102 Dalmatians, but that's just like... I just imagine that they got rid of the first 101 Dalmatians and they just got another 102 Dalmatians.
Ugh. That's true dog nuttery. Now it's like they had another one. It's like, oh, it doesn't have spots. And, oh, it's so cute. It wants to roll around in paint so it gets its stupid fucking spots.
Oh, right. At the end of the movie, it gets a spot.
They're like, holy shit, this stupid fucking dog got its spots.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't watch The Shaggy Dog. Did you?
With Tim Allen?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I remember the movie cover because it was the dog with human eyes photoshopped onto it.
I remember seeing a billboard of that. I'm like, I know that's Tim Allen's eyes, but like, this is creepy. I feel uncomfortable by this. Shaggy Dog. That's a good one.
Let's see. Lots of Scooby-Doo movies, though I think Zombie Island is probably my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Because that one's the most graphic it gets. But I guess the dog it can speak.
Barely.
Yes. Broken. They abused it until it could speak broken English.
Sounds like someone with brain damage. But it's a coward. It pisses itself in fear and will do anything for food.
That's true.
They're like, hey, Scooby, you want to go jump in this pit full of pythons? I'll give you a Scooby snack. And he'll
say no, and they'll be like, will you do it for 2 Scooby snacks?
They just increase their offer.
Yeah.
It's a bidding.
It's a bidding war.
I always did think those looked kind of good. They made it look appealing, but thinking back on it now, the dog food is disgusting.
Doesn't Shaggy eat them?
Yeah, because he's a stoner. Well, he spends so much time around the dog, he probably has a bunch of parasites.
That's why he has to eat so much to counteract, and that's why he's always skinny, because the parasites eat everything.
Yeah, the parasites the dog gave him just keep eating his food.
Like Scoob, he gave me worms.
Ruh-roh.
Did you ever watch the movie Cats and Dogs?
Ah, that was a stupid movie.
I watched that one quite a bit.
Me too, because it was just kind of one of those only movies that came out. It's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
It's so stupid.
Let's see, the plot is the cats are trying to spread a disease or something, spread something around the world that'll make everyone allergic to dogs. While simultaneously, Jeff Goldblum is a scientist who is allergic to dogs, and he's trying to create a cure to cure the allergies to dogs.
There is a way to cure dog allergies, and that is to not be around them.
No.
You get rid of the source.
No, you gotta introduce medicine. You gotta introduce a new drug to help counteract it. Which, while he does find the cure at the end, he hasn't done any long-term studies on it, so we have no idea what the side effects were.
Yeah, it could make your penis fall off.
It could be an immune suppressant.
And they die from all of the diseases the dog transmits to them. Because you can not be allergic to their dander or saliva, but they still transmit diseases.
And I think after that, I mostly just have tried to reminisce about shows that had dogs. So, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I watched that one.
I watched that one too. But that was, though in retrospect, I now see that show it's kind of funny how much abuse happens to the dog.
Oh,
to Courage. And just how many episodes he comes out battered and bruised and like limbs broken,
missing teeth.
his eyes are like black, and his eye sockets are blackened and swollen, and his eyes are red and bloodshot.
Yeah, so at least there's dog abuse in it.
And the husband fucking hates him and constantly scares him.
So Eustace is one of those characters that you don't like as a kid, but when you get older you sympathize with him a little more.
He's a little bit of a Squidward
Yeah.
character. Though he is very selfish and a very terrible person, but at least some aspects of him you can kind of understand.
I feel like that's a ploy to make it seem like if you hate dogs, you're an evil person just all around. No redeeming qualities.
I never watched we watched the live-action short of Frankenweenie, correct?
Yes, by Tim Burton.
Yes.
That's a good one.
The dog dies and the child refuses to accept it, so he gets everyone to hook up their cars batteries to the dog, and
I mean, that's the ending.
yeah, isn't it only 20 minutes or something?
I think it's like half an hour maybe.
Oh, okay. I don't remember how the movie plays out. I just remember everyone hooking up their car batteries to him.
Well, that's the end.
Yeah, and then it doesn't go as planned. The dog just blows up from all maybe.
I don't think they did that.
Okay.
I watched it when I was a kid because it was at the end of the Nightmare Before Christmas VHS. So it's a play off of one of those Frankenstein adaptations. I can't remember which one it is, but it's completely different from the book, where the monster accidentally kills a little girl because she and the monster are playing together, and she's throwing flowers into the water to make them float, and then he throws her into the water, not realizing that he's killing her. And I've thought that the Frankenweenie adaptation of it is just one of those pro-dog ploys, because it's like, oh, the dog didn't mean to mutilate the child, it was just scared or startled, or the sleeping infant sneezed and it provoked the dog into killing it. Tim Burton is one of the biggest dog nuts in Hollywood. Always has to insert a mutt in all of his movies. Like Edward Scissorhands, which, speaking of that movie, my husband and I make fan edits of entire movies. So he took out all the live action scenes in Osmosis Jones, and with the Ace Ventura movies, I've fixed those as well by taking out all the disgusting bits and just making it a kid-friendly movie, essentially. But with Edward Scissorhands, this is going to be a bigger project where Edward just kills all the dogs. And I'm still trying to make my mind up with the ending, but whenever he cuts the dog's hair, it just like, and blood splurts out.
Yeah, playing a little blood splatter effects during that scene. It could obviously just remove the scene, but it'd be a lot more fun to just kind of YouTube poop that scene.
Yeah, I agree.
And just at the end where he's kind of sad and the dog sits next to him, just goes.
And then there's just like a pool of blood in the next shot. This scene is so stupid. Dog love is so phony because it's only doing this because it was trained to do. Dogs don't do this on their own accord. They are only made to do what they do.
Yeah, I see dogs when I go for walks in the park, and it's unfortunate because, I mean, while I don't really care for these creatures, it's like they are kind of the ones suffering at the end because people are breeding these things to be deformed and to have short lifespans. So, well, 7-8 years tops.
And during that entire time, they're in pain and suffering.
But they're smiling and their tails wagging.
Dogs don't smile, you fucking idiot.
You bred that into them.
And
you bred them with fucked up jawlines and jowls.
So that they can't breathe through their nose. Oh, Ben All Dogs brought up Lassie.
I did not watch that one growing up.
Me either.
I know the classic scene of people saying little Billy fell down the well or something.
Yes. The dog is barking. It's like, wow, these people can speak dog. And they just want to get little Billy out of the well. The dog wants to get little Billy out of the well so that it can maul the child.
Because it's weak and defenseless, but it can't reach it.
What a twist. We have to do like an abridged version of those movies where we just talk over, or we re-record the dialogue.
Yes. Another show I watched, well, this was around the time when TV was kind of becoming or cartoons on TV were becoming pretty sparse and limited, but during that time, they released Crypto the Super Dog.
Oh,
cartoon.
yes. I remember that.
Just like, if that thing that has all the powers of Superman, but if it just decided to go rogue and start mauling children, no one could stop it because it's bulletproof.
That's true. That is horrifying, actually.
Well, if it got rabies, then it'd be unstoppable.
It would have super rabies.
Yeah.
And the only way they could kill it is to use kryptonite. But a side note, Crypto is voiced by Samuel Vincent, who's the same voice actor for Double D in Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. They'd have to put slip some kryptonite into a doggy treat.
Yeah.
And bait it.
That would be probably the easiest thing to do. Or dogs are so stupid, you could probably just give it kryptonite and it'll eat it.
Let's see. Another show. I didn't watch this one. I didn't really like it because I thought it was ugly. Was Cat Dog.
Oh, yeah. On Nickelodeon.
Yeah. But honestly, I mostly just associate them with Cheez-Its because I believe they had they were Cat Dog Cheez-Its for the longest time.
I thought there would be Cat Dog Macaroni.
Oh, maybe that was it as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Cheez-Its too. But yeah, that one is interesting because even in all these dog movies, they have some type of accurate mutt portrayal. So in cat dog is really stupid. He's very easy to fool.
Mm-hmm.
And cat is kind of a jerk.
How's it? How do they go to the bathroom?
That's
Is that the mystery?
I assume they excrete it out of their navel. Maybe they have one belly button.
They have one. I see it. It meets in the middle,
That's so gross.
and then the dog eats, and the cat can still taste things. Like, no.
Ugh. Yeah, remember that one episode where dog eats shit
Oh yeah. The cat gets pissed off.
and it gets capnocytophaga? Well, no, they would both get it. Give it to each other.
Then the cat scratches him and gives him cat scratch fever.
Ooh. And toxoplasmosis. Even cartoons that don't revolve around dogs, they still include them. Like Doug.
Yes.
Doug has a dog, or Jimmy Neutron.
Mm-hmm. Which the one in Jimmy Neutron has the mouth has a bear trap.
Yeah, it looks terrifying. Like, what if that thing decides that it's sick of eating all these bolts? It's gonna maul somebody.
What if its AI grows to hate humanity and decides to turn on them?
Yeah, that's a terrifying reality. Like,
Most of Jimmy's inventions turn on him, so eventually Goddard will.
probably programmed it to be blindly loyal. But yeah, what if there's some type of malfunction and Goddard decides to rip off Jimmy's head? Even though it's a mechanical dog, it still has the disgusting habits of a dog, so it shits on the patio.
Shits bolts. Why would you program that?
He made it too dog-like.
I guess so.
Just
Like,
shoot it.
It's not a dog unless it's shitting. It's not a true dog.
Yeah, it's not a true dog unless it's acting disgusting.
Another show I watched this one a lot. Definitely it's not okay in hindsight, was Rugrats.
Fuck. That is really dangerous because they're babies around
Yeah.
fully grown dogs.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Spike, the mutt,
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's a nanny dog.
and Stu is just going, oh, deeds.
Oh, deeds. Spike ripped off Timmy's scalp again, or Tommy's scalp.
Grabs Chucky by the hair and starts shaking him.
That's another brainwashing TV show that just made people not people's risk assessment of dogs has been very skewed throughout the years.
Yes, so.
Oh, Arthur. Asher brought up Arthur. That's a good one because that's another children's show. It's like, oh, you can take this little misbehaving little shit and train it to be good.
Yeah. They also have a baby
Yeah.
in that.
And the dog shits everywhere in the first episode. We had like a little, like one of those tiny little books that with the cardboard pages of that episode at home. And when my nieces were over, they asked me to read that book to them, and I just was reinforcing, like, this is not a good story. Don't do this because dogs are just not worth it. Like, they wanted me to read it to them, so I'll read it to them, but I will keep reinforcing that it is just not worth it to have a dog. Oh, Paw Patrol. Mr. Payne brought up. That's a bad one.
Is that a newer one?
Yeah, it's
CG.
Yes.
Okay.
3D. And it's I'm pretty sure the main dog is a bully breed. It's like, oh, he's a police dog. He's protecting people. And there was a Paw Patrol movie.
Oh.
It's really bad.
I'd imagine.
That's just reinforcing the child endangerment.
Yeah.
Or Clifford.
Yes.
That's another one. Another child endangerment.
That's like the most dangerous situation is having a giant dog.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't eat Mary Elizabeth, it could step on her and kill her.
It could, whenever that thing has to shit or urinate, it just destroys everything. Creates a biohazard for like a 5-mile radius.
I imagine all of their grass is just flooded with piss and it's dying.
And their house is just barren.
Ugh.
I know there are some fake books made of Clifford titles, and I like the one where it's just called Clifford Takes a Shit. And it's just, who is the girl?
Mary Elizabeth.
Mary Elizabeth, and it's just her looking very frowning with like a bag in her hand.
Ugh.
Or like a snow shovel.
That's really bad.
I know.
There's another one of those Clifford memes where it's half of Mary Elizabeth's body is sticking out of Clifford's mouth, and he has like razor teeth, and it's like Clifford goes on a rampage, or Clifford attacks again. Those are good. I forgot about those.
Yeah. But oh yeah, and there was a Clifford movie recently.
Yeah, lots of Clifford, but that one is live action.
Oh,
So
okay. They got a real giant mutated red dog to play Clifford.
gross.
No.
Do you remember that episode of Clifford where he eats shit?
And drinks piss.
And then eats another dog's shit and piss while it's shitting and pissing. I just would really like these cartoons with dogs to throw a huge curveball to everybody, and the dog just starts eating shit.
Did you ever watch the show Wishbone?
Oh, yes, I did. What was that? A bull terrier?
I think some kind of small dog, but
Yeah.
I don't remember any of them except for the slave episode.
Holy shit.
Because he along with the other along with the slaves get wings and fly away at the end from the evil plantation. Yeah.
Human slaves?
Yeah.
Wow.
Slavery time.
Jeez. I do remember that vaguely, but I was like 3 years old.
Yeah, me too. So I just remember that scene because it was very weird. It's just very confusing as a child, but sticks out.
Yeah. Outside of children's cartoons, there's Family Guy.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, but then they're just like dogs, normal dogs.
Yeah.
So it's like, is Brian the only dog that chose evolution?
Yeah, much like Goofy and Pluto. Goofy chose evolution, even though he's not very smart, but he's at least further in the evolutionary process than Pluto is.
He's bipedal at least.
Yes.
Pluto's still walking around on all fours.
And Goofy can wear gloves and use hands.
And he's also just okay going to Mickey's house and seeing his unevolved brethren. It'd be like going over to someone's house and they have a pet chimpanzee.
Or just a pet pygmy.
That's fucked up.
A movie, an animated. Well, what are your opinions on Balto?
I like that movie, honestly.
I guess I can at least say the dogs in that movie serve a purpose, and they're not. There are some. It's like, oh, they love the kids and stuff like that. It's like, but at least they're being put in mortal danger for a purpose.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that.
Except for that little girl's red husky.
Yes.
It goes to visit her in the hospital and she's dying of polio. Or what is the illness the kids have? I think it's polio.
Pneumonia?
Could be. One of those, like, regardless of the illness you have, you don't want to be in the presence of something that eats its own shit.
Yeah, and they need the light eco in the jars.
I thought it was yellow.
Yes.
Looks like yellow eco.
Oh, yeah.
From Jack and Daxter. Yeah, the dogs definitely serve a purpose in that, but then it's like people still have kids, and the little girl has a husky. Like, huskies have killed adults.
Yeah. I guess I can at least appreciate when dogs are being used for something. And it's like, when it's the dogs at risk of dying, then Like, okay, well, that's at least something. Or at least they're playing the lesser animals, the lesser things at risk of death.
Yeah.
As opposed to humans, though I guess the human directing them
Passes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they can put dogs in the first line of danger, then that's what's important. So it's like how the Russians would blast stray dogs into space to see if the technology they have would allow for life, because if the dog dies, then no one really cares, and if it lives, it's like, okay, we know what to do now.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have to. But I guess you could put a rat, but you need something bigger where you can control you need to see. I guess a rat doesn't use up as much resource as a dog, so you need something that uses up a bit more resources to know if it works or not.
Yes. Oh, that's true. Mice survive on so little.
Tom and Jerry is a good show that has some dog episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Though it's kind of a constant back and forth of all the characters being assholes to each other.
Yeah, everyone is a jerk in that one.
Yeah, though it is funny seeing the dogs get hit on the head with like bats and anvils and things.
Yes.
But usually then it's usually Tom getting the shit beaten out of him afterwards, but at least they can abuse each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And they deify mice, like you said. You said that earlier.
Yeah, in all of these cartoons with animals, they usually deify vermin, like a Cinderella. They deify the mice and demonize the cats. I mean, neither of us really are like cat lovers, but it's like why is it they always deify one animal, but they demonize one animal, but they almost never demonize dogs ever. Oh, Banal Dogs brought up The Simpsons. I didn't watch that growing up, but people in the chat are saying how the Simpsons don't care about the dog.
Yes, I believe I've watched The Simpsons, but I never watched it chronologically for a while. Santa's Little Helper, I believe it's called, and they go through 6 of it or something. They just call it Santa's Little Helper, then Santa's Little Helper 2.
I thought it was Satan's Little Helper.
No, it's Santa. But yours is more accurate.
Satan's Little Helper. There's this one scene that Worthless Mutts posted on his channel of a robber breaking into their house, and the dog starts growling, and then the robber offers it like a sausage or something, and the dog eats it and doesn't attack him. It goes to show how worthless dogs are in terms of using them as a security system.
And in one episode where the dog gets sick and Bart really wants them to, drop whatever they're doing to help it out. But in doing that, basically everyone else missed out on the opportunities they really wanted.
Wow.
So his mom lost the chance to win the lottery as well, because she used that money on the dog instead of doing her usual lottery ticket thing with friends.
So, in helping the dog, they have screwed themselves over, basically, for a creature that's not going to benefit them.
Yes.
I wonder if... What's his name?
Matt Groening.
Matt Groening, yeah. I wonder if Matt Groening doesn't like dogs. Because I can't remember... No. In that episode of Futurama, there's Fry's dog. Sorry, my throat is dry. There's Fry's dog that... Seymour. And it has that stupid fucking ending where it's like, oh, the dog is waiting for him. It's so loyal. It's like, no, you idiots. It's waiting for its food dispenser to come back. It's like, where's my food dispenser? Like, I know it's supposed to be here. And it's just worried it's never going to eat again.
Then it then it petrifies itself.
Yes. It's lava. That's a stupid Stupid episode. But there are some pretty good, accurate mutt portrayals in Matt Groening's work.
I know you... did you ever play the game Okami?
No, but I have heard and seen screenshots of it.
Yeah. It's a very pretty game, but you play as a dog.
Gross. Do you eat shit as one of the missions?
I don't know if there's you shit mechanic. But I think you can bark. You can harass people.
Lovely. Sounds great.
You can use magic on people.
It's not like Digimon, where they shit and you have to get rid of it.
Well, at least in Digimon, there are shit Digimon that eat shit.
Yeah.
So they take care of that.
Disgusting. I can see why Pokemon were more popular, because...
Digimon was too cool.
It was cooler, but I guess Pokemon are cuter. Cuter kind of appeals to children more.
But if you want the more raw experience of what owning a magical animal is like, Digimon is a good example of that.
Yeah, just get your kids Tamagotchis if they want to experience all the joys of pet ownership without needing to deal with feces.
Oh, but even Tamagotchi should.
Yeah, so you don't have to physically deal with feces, but you can go through all the steps you would.
You can get virtual feces.
Disgusting. Okami is a wolf, apparently.
Oh.
But it's still a canine.
Canine, yeah. I can appreciate that if it's a wolf. I know when you beat the game, you unlock different models, which are just different dogs you could be.
Great. Is there a pit bull option?
Might be, but
Gross.
I haven't played that game in years.
Dog Pokemon. That's I know that there's Growlithe, of course, and Arcanine, but there's Absol, Houndoom.
Houndoom, oh yeah.
Houndoom, which is like a hellhound.
Yeah. I stopped keeping up with Pokemon after the 3rd generation.
Yeah, me too. So I don't know what new Pokemon there are, but I'm sure there are plenty of Mutts.
Oh, wait, aren't the legendary ones from the 2nd gen dogs?
They're actually cats. They're I did a bit of research and they are actually cats. Entei is a lion.
Okay.
They look like dogs, and a lot of people say the legendary dog Pokemon, but they're actually big cats.
I know the electric one looks a lot like a cat, but the other two I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Entei is based off of a lion. Rauko, I think, is a leopard. Or something like that. Or maybe it's a tiger. But it's more appealing than Mutt Pokemon.
Yes.
Alright, well, we have successfully streamed for 1 hour.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's... Do you have anything else that you want to bring up in terms of Mutt movies?
Let's see. Did you watch Fievel Goes West?
Yes, I love that movie. I still like that movie, but yes, very pro-dog.
They have to become a mutt. I'll make a mutt out of you.
Yeah, Tiger has to turn into a mutt so he can defeat the cat, the evil cat. But there's a scene where Tiger keeps getting chased by dogs, and that is pretty accurate. Like, dogs are everywhere these days.
Yeah, so it's at least... I do appreciate in movies where they do have animals being accurate.
Yes,
themselves.
Accurate Mutt portrayals are always refreshing. Like in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which we saw. I'm sure a lot of people have read my community posts on this, but there's a very good, accurate Mutt portrayal in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Very accurate. The only other Mutt-related content I have on my list is that the Animal Planet's Dogs 101. I watched that a little bit, but they never. It's awful because they're talking about these breeds and they talk about the pros and cons and what you need to raise one, but it's not. They're not mentioning anything about the suffering these breeds go through or just the amount of waste these things produce.
Yeah, or the diseases they have. And dog ownership is expensive too. Mm-hmm. It's really expensive, so I doubt they're putting in the information about the yearly cost.
Yeah. Getting dewormed.
Yes.
Does any other animal need to be dewormed?
Cats.
Cats? Okay, they have worms as well. Makes sense.
No pets, please.
Never again. Can't deal with worms.
It's nice to not be responsible for another creature's feces.
Yes. I go on jobs and they have pet cat. If they have a pet cat and it's receptive enough, I'll pet it on its head, but I'm usually wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Because they're usually very quiet. So
you don't scratch them and make all their dander go airborne.
Yeah. And they're usually indoors. They stay indoors, so I can appreciate that. But they don't. They're less likely to make noise.
Yes.
And they stay indoors. Can't really do that with a dog.
No.
Some people try with those pads and.
Oh gosh.
It's a nightmare.
No.
I remember when those came into fashion. Yeah. These things suck.
Not the piss pads.
No.
Yeah, handling a child's feces is much more preferable because at least it's contained. Like, I'm okay dealing with a child's feces because I'm not going to be doing this forever. They're eventually, hopefully, going to learn how to wipe their own ass.
When's that? What age is that? 3?
2.
2?
2 or 3. You can potty
Jeez.
train as soon as you want.
Yeah, that's true. So that's either you can either put up with it for 2 years or put up with it for 10 years.
Ugh. No.
Repeatedly.
I mean, one MDMA wants me to repost the video on how to safely prepare dog meat. So I guess if you're going to be raising a dog, you can raise it for food. It's just like how people can raise pigs as livestock and farm them. So people need to stop seeing dog ownership as something you need to do until the dog just dies of natural causes, whatever that means. But just raise it as livestock, because as long as you safely prepare it, you soak dog meat in a brine solution for 24 hours, then you kill all the parasites. And the same applies to pork. Pork has parasites in it and germs, but cook it thoroughly, that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. Next time I get organ meat, I need to do the brine solution to it. Try to get rid of that gamey taste.
Yes. If you soak meat in a brine solution before cooking it, it will replace the blood with saline. It'll make it more tender and just overall more enjoyable.
What's a brine? Water and salt?
Yeah, it's a high. I think it might be for every 1 gallon of water, it's 1 cup of salt. So the salt content may seem high, but it has to be able to replace all the blood with saline.
Yeah. Can you also add other stuff to that?
Oh yeah, people add like lemon juice, or they add whole lemons, like squeeze out all the juice and then put lemon zest in it. It's a good time. I'm okay with the idea of eating dog meat. I used to be grossed out by it, but it's as long as you just cook it like any other meat, it is like any other meat. So the first opportunity I can get to try dog meat, I would like to.
I once saw someone walking, and I thought they were walking a pig, but just turns out it was a fat British bulldog.
Oh.
Oh.
A British bulldog, not a French bulldog?
It was a British bulldog. I'm not sure. Whatever those ones that are. I mean, they are stubby as hell and they look like a bulldog.
Do they have the smashed in face?
Yeah, or no, it was a bulldog of some kind. I don't know what breed of bulldog it is, but it's the ones that are stubbier and they have like really tiny eyes.
Are its ears floppy or do they stick straight up?
They're floppy.
Okay, yeah. So that sounds like an English bulldog.
Yeah, I've either been fat or really buff. A little hard to tell.
Both. Yeah, you see some of these dogs and you feel kind of sorry for them.
They didn't ask for this.
No, but the dog lovers are the ones that keep creating the demand for these creatures.
Oh, when I went a walk in the park, I did see another kind of dog. How do you describe it? It's a smaller dog, has no hair except on its head and its paws. And it looks very spindly, white hair. It looks diseased.
I think I know what kind of dog that is.
It's a luxury dog. But I felt bad looking at it because it looked in pain.
Yeah.
Much like with the greyhounds, it's one of those types of dogs where it looks constantly tense.
Greyhounds are hideous too. Like their snout is really long. They also look really stupid when they run because it's like their entire upper body like goes up and down. Their head goes up and down. But if you look at any other normal animal when it runs, it kind of gallops, or like a horse, it kind of moves its head forward as it runs. But with greyhounds, their head goes up and down as they run, and they look stupid.
All other animals have a pretty good built-in gyroscope around their head.
Yes.
Keep it centered.
Because it's a normal animal. All right, I think that's a good stopping point for now. We'll have to do this again in the future because it seems like people really enjoy these.
Yeah.
So,
do we answer any questions? Anyone want to ask any questions?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions or possibly any suggestions, I can't guarantee that we'll be able to do every single suggestion. But, yeah. Oh, Serena's here. Hello, Serena. Serene Bean and Malum Antichristo. You're very welcome for the recipe. But this was on the other channel. We did that one. Well, we read off an article basically about this person explaining emotional support animals and how they basically don't work at all and they're a crutch for people. That was a good time. But going live together, how do you feel about going live compared to just the recording sessions that we did?
It's good. I enjoy it because it helps me with be a little more aware of my presentation, so I'm not doing as many oohs or ums as I normally do, which I try not to do that, but when you're live streaming, there's a good amount of pressure to be aware, stay aware.
Yes, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really like live streaming, because if I say something stupid or if I stumble over my words or my throat gets dry and my voice cracks or something, but IHD does this all the time. Good on him for being able to do that. But it's nice to not worry about editing. You don't really need to edit. That's a good and bad thing, but oh, love you too, Serena. We have 18 people in the chat room here, which is really cool. Oh, Slime and Isabel. Good to see y'all. interacting with my fans. No, you guys aren't my fans. It's kind of weird to say that. Community members.
I'm trying to think of any other encounters I've had with dogs the past couple weeks, but nothing too major. Oh, well, our neighbors upstairs, they had a dog that was barking for... When they left the apartment, it would bark constantly.
For hours.
Yeah, so on the night, it barked for about 4 hours straight. When the people came home, I went up there and told them about it, and the dog came running out of the apartment towards me, and I just kicked it.
Yes.
And the lady was like, "Excuse me." So she was upset.
You can say, "Oh, you're excused."
Yeah, I just told her, it's like, "Your dog's been barking for 4 hours straight. You dumb bitch." No, I did not say that.
Right.
That would have escalated.
So, what did she say after that?
She just asked me what do I recommend she does. She do about it. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, apparently I was the one that was supposed to provide her with the answers.
Right. It's not her responsibility as the dog owner to get her dog to stop. Like, oh, what do you want me to do about it? I would say take it to the Humane Society and get it euthanized. That's what you do about it.
Put a muzzle on it.
Or,
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah, but the husband was cool. He came on and said they'll take care of it. I was like, okay, thank you.
We haven't heard it since.
Yeah, so kudos on them for doing that.
Whatever they did, I have a feeling that they probably just euthanized it.
They probably just moved out. Because I think the apartment... Luckily, the apartment is only like a temporary unit for people. So
a lot of the times.
People come and go pretty easily.
Before that, quite a few dog interactions have happened, but I just kind of forget about them because they're a little normalized. But when I was walking to my car on my way to work once, there was this off-leash dog that would start to charge at me and bark at me, but I pulled out my pepper gel and was able to get it to not attack me. But it's weird how that is just kind of a regular occurrence to a degree, because when we were going to my car, there's this idiot that always has his dog off leash, and I have told him numerous times to put a leash on the dog, and he never does. So he's walking ahead of the dog, and the dog is behind them. He's like, "Oh, come here, boy." The dog is still behind him. It's approaching us, and I mace it, and then, it scurries back to its owner. And that owner is so stupid, I bet you he probably didn't even realize that somebody just maced his dog.
Yeah, his dog was behind like 15 feet or something, like 20 feet, and it's in the middle of the walkway.
Yeah.
So, and as we're approaching it,
I don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know this fucking dog. I should have told the guy, you better leash that thing because I'm going to mace it. But I didn't, because I've talked to that guy on, I haven't spoken, have a conversation with him because he's too stupid to hold one. But I've told him several times, keep it on a leash. And he never does, so if that happens again, I'm not really afraid of confrontation because I have protection with me. But, it's funny how little they actually care about their dog. If they genuinely cared about their dog, they would have it on a leash.
Yeah, and that's another thing is these dogs, especially nowadays, are only being put in dangerous situations because of the owners.
Yeah.
Because the owner is not leashing them. They're not keeping track of them. I suppose it'd be like if they're having their toddler follow behind them. It's like, what are you doing?
It's endangerment.
But that's a bit disrespectful to toddlers.
Yeah, it's not fair to compare toddlers to dogs, but
these people treat them.
Yeah,
treat them like they're children. So it's like you keep your children out of your sight.
Yeah, and that comparison to dogs and children is acceptable in this circumstance because we're using their logic against them. Okay, you guys really want to compare dogs to children. well, would you let your children be 15 feet behind you while you're going somewhere?
Your back is turned and people are passing you.
Yeah, anyone could snatch it up. Or people who just like let their kids walk on the side of a freeway or something. A lot of these dogs that get hit by cars, they're not on leashes. In fact, none of them are on leashes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got hit. If you really want to compare dogs to children, then you should put some clothing on your children and not have its anus and genitals exposed. Oh, we said we were going to end it a while ago, but it's keep on coming up with new things. But
I'm just trying to get all the points or any recent activities that have happened.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Your coworker. Yeah. So tell me about the situation your coworker is in.
So my coworker, he has 3 huskies, and on top of that, there are also litters of puppies. As he's had to get them dewormed. But he lost his car keys, apparently, and couldn't get it to work. And he's also getting very little sleep as of lately.
The sleep deprivation kind of led to him losing his car keys.
So it's just a... I guess if his dog, he kind of has to make a decision whether it's his job or the dogs or the puppies. Just needs to do something, but can't keep doing this.
It's funny these people act like they don't have an option when it comes to their dogs that are destructive. Like, you have plenty of options, actually. You might get some social backlash from your nut friends, but it is pretty easy. You go to a shelter and you go in with the intention of getting them euthanized, and you're saving a lot of people, including yourself, the trouble. Like, what is going to happen if you euthanize all of them? Oh no, you're going to get better sleep. Oh no, you're going to be a little more attentive and less stressed out. How horrible. Que terrible.
Maybe it's his side hustle and he's selling them.
3 huskies and a new litter of puppies. That's disgusting. I wonder how much dog shit and piss is in his home right now. Does he live in a home or an apartment?
I don't recall.
Okay. If he lives in an apartment, that is probably grounds for the health department to get involved. They should just eat their dogs. That's 3 meals a day.
Puppy a day.
Keeps
the hunger away.
A puppy a day keeps the devil away. But we'll do this again sometime. We will have future live streams. Be rest assured. Any last minute things, Mr. Muttmeat?
Mr. Muttmeat. I'll try to come up with other bullet points or show notes so since we've got the shows and movies out of the way, we can get into other topics.
Yeah, these are good for just general discussions between this is a podcast, what we're doing technically, so it's showing that we as anti-dog people are not these lonely shut-ins that have no friends. We actually have plenty of very good friends, and we're perfectly reasonable people. This is a two-way discussion.
Yeah. I enjoy being able to discuss these topics intellectually and while being passionately against a certain lifestyle,
and one that is heavily backed up by logic. So yeah, I feel good about this. Feel good about what we're doing. Any people that feel like they want to get into live streaming with an anti-dog genre, then I suggest you just give it a shot, because anything that adds more weight to the movement, the better. So we're gonna head off. Let's see what's going on in the chat. We got OTA 5. Yes, I took Spanish for 3 years in high school, so know a little bit. Airy Bear, Malum Anticristo, good to see you all. And Gecko, a new subscriber. I actually subscribed to Gecko because he left a really funny comment in that news video of the guy that's like spinning his dog on a leash. So that's how I find a lot of people.
We'll have to discuss the potential energy sources that come from using dogs. So
yeah.
If you spin a dog, you can generate X amount of energy.
Yes. It can be used for thermodynamics. Oh, yes. Serena, thank you for reminding me. If you guys are interested in the Animal Uncontrolled Discord, email me at chefmuttmeat@gmail.com and I will send you a private invite. So, with that, we are going to head off. Mr. Muttmeat, do you have any last words?
Stay safe, stay smart, and stay dog-free.
Yes. Have a dog-free day.